Why are we not in bliss? And the reason lies only in one place. It's that we don't want to be. And I know that this is kind of like a weird angle because, of course, we are here. Even the fact that you are here and we're gathered here means like we're coming together because something is calling us and we're saying, yes, yes to that greater life. Yes, I want to be this beacon of unconditional love, peace, joy. I want to be free of suffering and to share the freedom of suffering with all beings. But then what's going on? If you remember again in the Course, it talks about something. This is one of my very favorite quotes from Course in Miracles. And it's this quote that says, even in this world, it is I who rule my destiny. What happens is what I desire. What does not occur is what I do not want to happen. This I must accept, right? And so will you accept it? Hmm? So if we do accept it, then that means that the only reason why we don't experience the presence of God is because we don't want to. The only reason why we are not in ongoing peace, love, and joy is because we find greater value in our exploration of separation. There's no shame, no guilt, no condemnation about this that is coming from the outside towards us. But we may have different things, right? I wonder if you have, I often like to compare this macrocosmic experience of moving through life, through the spiritual journey of evolution, awakening, ascension, enlightenment, whatever we want to call it, to our everyday experience. And some of the most potent examples are in our childhood, right? So I wonder if you can relate and think back to a time when you were younger and you got involved in something and then you realized, oh, but this isn't quite it, right? But instead of just abandoning that, the moment that we have this realization and moving on, we want to somehow salvage this, right? We want to redeem it, right? Well, we have already engaged in it. And so, well, how do we position it now in such a way that it is good, that it is something that belongs? Yeah. Um, in business, in entrepreneurship, this is called the sunk cost fallacy. So even as adults, as we get into experiences, uh, even to say experiences that seem to be going down the wrong path, right? From our stance of wisdom and discernment, we are going down some path and we keep investing in it and we keep investing in it. And then we're like, this really doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel right. But because we have invested so much time, effort, energy, maybe money, now we feel attached to it. And instead of letting it go, we continue to pursue, we continue to travel down this path. And so there is something to be said for this journey of separation as we go deep into it and we start to realize, oh, wait a second, there's some drawbacks to this experience. There's something in us that is already committed. There's something in us that doesn't want to be guilty, doesn't want loss, doesn't want shame. But all of these qualities are actually something that has been internalized and downloaded from this world. Because in truth, infinite love is not shaming us. Infinite peace is not disturbed by our wild imaginings of being something other than what we were created to be. And so right here where we are, and in each moment, we have the opportunity to choose again. If I were going to give another name to A Course in Miracles, I'll call it A Course in Choosing Again, because that's all really that we're invited to in the entire spiritual path. What is meditation as we sit and we meditate and we practice, except choosing again and again and again? This experience of choice, this wielding of choice is perhaps one of the most potent realizations that we can have. And I want to bring back the resourcefulness document, resource. How do we reconnect back to source, back to this fullness? and explore it here in this context of what's actually missing for us, right? We have this discernment. There's illusion and then there's truth. And as we begin to just pick any one of them, really. So illusion, for example, attachment, clinging to desires, identities, and material world. The corollary of that is the non-attachment, letting go of identification with form, outcome, or ego. Now, what is this really about? Like attachment, we really talked about this attachment um, to our identities or letting go of our identities. What we have to really ask this question: what is it? Who is it that can attach to an identity and let go of an identity? And I want you to know that that is you. And you have already done this many, many times. Do you remember back when you were a teenager and you had a sort of an identity? Remember? I had many. It's probably hard to imagine, but as a teenager, I had an identity of being this like um, Eminem style like dude with bandana and rap and hip hop and all of that. That was one phase. And then I had a totally different phase. Sometimes they're associated with music or movies or media. So in my case, music was a big part of it. And then I had another phase where I was so into classic rock and AC/DC and Metallica, and I was all about rock on, right? These are identities. There are people who still live in these identities. These are like avatars that you can step into and become and wear. And so right now, looking back, we can see we have actually let go of many identities from the past. Yeah. So this quality of letting go of these identities, what is it actually revealing? It's revealing to us this essence, this true self in which there is nothing missing. We can actually pick up and let go of any kind of identity whatsoever, any form of possibility. And this is where this work crosses over with the work on uh, manifestation, reality creation, reality transurfing, um, whatever way we say that, parallel timelines and jumping, quantum jumping, jumping timelines. What is all of this talking about? It's talking about that you are completely sovereign. You, the inner you, not the personality, not the one that's associated with the name, but the you, the nameless, the formless. Very few people ever speak to you when you're out in the world and you're engaging in life. Most people speak to your avatar. So this might feel weird that I am speaking to you here, but the you that is watching and witnessing this experience is the very same you that has been watching and witnessing the experience when you were a baby. When you were a baby, people related to you actually a lot more because they could see this radiance, this shining. They're like, oh my God, aliveness. Hi there, right? And then slowly the name, and then the observation from others, and they're telling you who you are like, what you dislike, and all of this conditioning and programming and language seeps into this innocence, and now it is appearing as this conditioned self. Oh, I'm Boris. I like this and I don't like that. And I blah, blah, blah. All of that is a result of something that seemingly was added to you when you came into this world. But the truth is, this world cannot add or take away anything from who you truly are. The more accurate conversation would be that we stepped into this world and put on a suit, and now we're playing the part, just like in the movies. You see Angelina Jolie, Tom Cruise, they put on a character, and suddenly she's not Angelina anymore, she's Mrs. Smith. Suddenly it's not Tom Cruise anymore, it's Maybe some of you know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know his names in the movies. Um, but this is what's happened to us, except in the movies, maybe they take on that role for a certain period of time and then they go back to being themselves. Now, you and I, as we have entered into this world, most of us have not gone back, have not stepped into that back room and laughed at this performance and talked about, whoa, what a ride that was. Great job. Nice improv, right? Many of us have just continued to build on this identity, to become more and more closely associated with it. And as we had done so, unknowingly, we have been trading away our innocence, our unlimitedness, our abundance, our freedom, our unconditionality, trading all of that in for conditions. And this absolutely belongs. This is why we're here. We are here to experience just this. And that is why everything is on the way. And everything that you could ever want to experience about this realm of separation is already available in you. If you want to be one who's rich and abundant, that character, that identity lives in you. If you want to be somebody who has the love of their life, wonderful. It's here. If you want to be somebody who's alone, feels victimized by the world, feels entirely separate, lonely, and just for a rough ride, that character exists in you also. We are so abundant and so free as to what kind of expression we are going to experience in this life that there's really nothing at all stopping us except our choice to continue on with the story narrative that has been propagated in our minds since we are little.